will unveil his party's manifesto shortly. Earlier, we spoke to our reporter, Yolisa Njamela, who is on the ground now. She spoke to the party's deputy president, Wayne Thring, not too long ago. Now, despite their numbers having gone down in the last election, he seems to be very confident that they will do well this time around. Yolisa, I believe you've also spoken to other leaders within the party. What did they have to say?
It's a festive mood here, Unati. It's quite loud as well, as you would understand that people are excited. Reverend Kenneth Meshwe has just walked in. Our viewers will forgive us if they can't hear us quite well as we try to chat with the ACDP leaders as they come in. I'll just remind the viewers that ACDP is the sixth largest political party in South Africa, represented by 4 members in parliament, has 876 candidates and 145 municipalities that they're contesting in. We're now going to be in conversation with the candidate who has been put up for the Johannesburg mayorship, Bishop Dutton Adams. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
First, I'd like to know, why do you believe you're the right candidate to lead the wealthiest city on the African continent?
You know, Johannesburg is finding itself in a conundrum at the moment. The wealthiest city is not reflecting and manifesting that it's the wealthiest city. The inequalities and poverty and hunger and the unemployment rate in South Africa does not speak that it is the wealthiest country in South Africa. The problem that we have in this country is a problem of leadership. And I believe I have the qualities of leadership. What needs to happen in the city of Joburg is you have to restore the dignity, the authority, the stature and the decorum of the mayoral chain. Leadership will take this city back into the high roads of how they're able to show the rest of the world. You need somebody who's able to galvanize everybody. Galvanize the MMCs as a cabinet, the executive, galvanize the entities, galvanize the people of the city of Johannesburg to work together to bring the city to where it was before and take it to higher grounds. I believe that I'm the right candidate to take this city to the next level.
What track record have you got, Bishop, that makes you believe that you can do this?
I'm a child of the soil. I'm born in Noordgesig. I'm born in Noordgesig in Soweto, in Westbury, notorious Soweto. I know poverty, I know lack. I am now the member of provincial legislature for the ACDP, which we won in 2019. I believe my track record will speak for itself with regards to what I know this country has to do and the city of Joburg has to get.
What can we expect from the president, Reverend Kenneth Meshwe, as he's about to take to the podium in a few minutes?
I think the manifesto that we have rolled out, we can present to South Africans, is a manifesto that not only speaks about moral issues and values, but about service delivery and how we as the mayoral candidates and councillors can bring about that change. That is what our manifesto is going to say.
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it here because your music keeps getting louder. Otherwise, it would be great to converse some more with you. We'll have to take it back to you, Unati. It's really tricky here. People are excited. It's a festive mood. But I'm afraid the viewers might not quite hear what we're saying. We'll take you to the president, Reverend Kenneth Meshwe, as soon as he starts delivering the manifesto.
Oh, that's Yolisa Njamela reporting live there from the ACDP manifesto launch, which is expected to start shortly. Of course, this is live television and the venue is untenable in order for us to hear her, but essentially just speaking to some of the candidates and some of the leaders of the party who are very optimistic, with this upcoming elections, despite the ACDP having, just been credited with 0.4% of the 2016 votes, which was a decline from 1.6%. But we'll continue with that coverage and we will go back to that launch as soon as the president of the ACDP, and that is Reverend Kenneth Meshwe, takes the podium. But let's continue here for now. ANC Deputy President David Mabuza says he is confident that the party will come out victorious
Siyabonga. Now that the owner is here, I'm going to ask my leaders, when they take their seat, we can all take our seats with due respect. We thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, the First Lady. Thank you, the members of the NEC. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you very much. Pastor John from Watchers. Please, guys, we have visitors amongst us. We've got no time to welcome everybody. However, all the leaders, you are welcome. The pastors from all other churches, all the members of other organizations that are with us today, friends, you are most welcome in this day that the Lord has made. And we shall all rejoice and be glad in it. Without much ado, I'm now going to call upon the man of God who happens also to be the candidate and the mayoral candidate of Johannesburg City. I'm going to give him the time to come and speak to us and to welcome us in the city. And his name is none other but Bishop Adams, the member of African Christian Democratic Party, the former executive board member of Gauteng, the former chairperson of the Foreign-to High School, the former director of Central Drug Office, the chairman of the Community Police Forum. I can go on and on and on and on. Without much ado, let's welcome the man of God to come on the stage, please, Bishop Adams.
Viva ACDP, viva! This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in Him. Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to greet our President, Reverend Kenneth Mishwe, our leader, Lydia, today with us, and all the NEC members. Give them a hand, everybody. I want to greet the citizens of Johannesburg equally. The place of gold, the place that has changed 4 times from a shanty town to what it is today. But I believe under the ACDP, we're going to take it to another level. I want you to say with me today, say the big question is. Say it one more time. Say it one more time. The big question is. The big question today is, how can we fix the city of Johannesburg? The big question is, will we continue to talk about the challenges of our city and which our city faces without the political will and the citizens' involvement to effectively address these challenges? The big question is, will we continue to turn a blind eye to the widening gap of poverty, unemployment, and inequality in our city? The big question is, will we stand idly by as our desperate need for service delivery and the unwillingness of officials to attend to these needs falls on deaf ears? People of Johannesburg, the word democracy finds its roots from the Greek word demos, which means people, and kratos, which means power, which translates into people power. Everybody say people power. Everybody say people power. Democracy is therefore defined as the power of the people to govern. Democracy is therefore defined as the power of the people to govern. American President Abraham Lincoln defined democracy in his Gettysburg Address, saying a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The big question is, ACDP and City of Johannesburg citizens, will we continue to allow authoritarian rule under the guise of a democratic mantle? Will we allow single-party regimes and certain individuals in society to assert popular support by claiming the mantle of democracy? The big question is, will we continue to allow officials implicated in corrupt activities to be suspended for long periods of time with full pay? The big question is, will we continue to accept unaccountability and no consequence for office bearers and public servants who mismanage government funds and line their pockets while the masses go hungry, are unemployed, and live in inadequate housing? Citizens of Johannesburg, there are days and there are certain days. Today is a certain day for the change in the city of Johannesburg. I believe it is time that the dignity, the stature, the authority, the decorum of the mayoral chain must be restored. It is time for the office of the executive mayor to regain its stature, regain its leadership value. The mayoral chain is a symbol of honor and demonstrates the responsibility of the bearer to the city and its people. Beloved citizens of Johannesburg, as the mayor-elect in the city of Johannesburg of the ACDP, a young man that was born in Johannesburg in Noordgesig, a notorious Westbury all my life, a child of the soil who knows and understands poverty and lack and discrimination and racism, being marginalized and overlooked, a victim of the brutal apartheid system and government, who knows about Pap and Marokko, who knows about Magunians and Scopa, about living in a 2-bedroom house in Bulte in Noordgesig, and you are 13 children, mother and father, where your mother has to divide the one small room with a curtain to divide it for boys and girls, who now understands why my elder brothers and sisters had to leave school to go and work so that I and my other siblings would be able to finish matric. Ons ken van swaar kry. We know struggling, we know hardship, but it made us what we are today. I want you today, beloveds, as you are sitting there, I want you to give your parents who brought us to this level, your mothers and your fathers, who took us through colonialism. They took us through apartheid. They took us through 27 years of democracy. Won't you give your parents a hand today for bringing you to where you are right now? I say we are going to make it. God Almighty did not bring us thus far to leave us here. So as the mayor-elect in the city of Johannesburg for the ACDP, I envisage a city which not only learns from history, reaches to the future, but also addresses the dire need of the present. We are the people. This is our city. Servant leadership, as I draw to a close, is based on aspects that include authenticity, good governance, effective control and monitoring, preservation of human rights, accountability, safety and peace, building communities, sharing and providing leadership, as well as valuing people. Today, I want to present to you SLAP, an acronym called SLAP, the Servant Leader Action Plan. Everybody say Servant Leader Action Plan. Say it one more time. One of the first things I will do when I get into power And I can only speak about the one. I will, as the executive mayor, with all these executive MMCs, with all the CFOs and CEOs, with all directors and DGTs and HODs, listen carefully, City of Joburg, from 7 to 11 every day for a year, we will not be in offices. We will not have meetings. Everybody will be on the ground to deal with the issues of service delivery for the people of the City of Joburg. The City of Joburg needs a turnaround. And I believe that program, 7-Eleven, is going to turn around the City of Johannesburg. God bless you, everybody. Viva ACDP, viva!
Halala, Mayor, halala! Halala, Mayor, in waiting, halala! Yeah, but we walk by faith. We pronounce and declare things. Halala, Mayor, halala! Without any waste of time, we are now coming to the most important moment of the day, and we are going to be having our leader addressing us. But before he does that, we all have to stand up and welcome him to the podium. We all know the man of God, the man that has been with this party from its inception in Parliament. He has been standing for Christians. He has been speaking on behalf of the desolate, the poor, the lost. He has never given up. He has never, ever given up. Now I want us to say and sing this song. I'm sure that it's Ntate Misheyo, our president. Ntate Misheyo, our president. Our president. Our president. Our president. Our president, Ntate Misheyo, our president, Ntate Misheyo, our president, our president, our president, Kafela, our president, Ntate Misheyo, our president, Ntate Misheyo, our president, our president, our president, our president, our president. Halala! President Reverend Bishop Halala! Halala, the president of the ACDP, halala! Halala, the president of South Africa in waiting, halala! Halala, the president of South Africa in waiting. Halala. Tanta demisha tata. Tanta demisha tata.
Praise the Lord. I said, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. The Lord bless you, the Lord bless you, the Lord bless you. Thank you for being with us this afternoon to celebrate for whatever the Lord has for us today, and as we look forward to the great things God is going to do for us in South Africa through the ACDP. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Before I share part of our manifesto, this is not an ordinary day for me. Something very, very special happened on this day. On the 2nd of October 1976, It was the day a certain lady behind me took a ring and put it in my finger. So I'm going to ask that privileged lady, because it is not everybody that can do that. Only one. So I'm going to ask that privileged lady, my dear wife, to come and stand with me here.
Lilizela, somebody Lilizela.
How do you like her smile? Now, today is our 45th year married.
Yeah.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank my wife for looking after me. Actually, all of you must thank her for looking after me. Because you would not have me if it was not for her. Now, normally when people celebrate the 45th year wedding anniversary, they are on the beach and they are under the umbrellas with ice cream and chocolate cake, enjoying themselves. And banana cake, obviously. But when the National Executive Committee of the ACDP says, we are going to have our manifesto launch on the 2nd of October, I kept quiet. She also kept quiet. So I want to say to her, thank you for not complaining that on your anniversary, we are spending the day with these beautiful people. So, thank you very much. Bless you. Bless you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, friends, I did that to remind you that ACDP is a party based on biblical principles and family values. We believe the family is the most important block of a thriving society. One of the reasons why our country is in a mess is because the family is breaking down, the family is being undermined, but the ACDP is planning, among other things, to strengthen the family. Because when the family is strong, then there is order also in the nation. That is why I had to start by saying thank you to her. And obviously, I have to say thank you also to my children. The Lord has blessed us with 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. One lives in America, one is in Cape Town, and the boy is running around. He's somewhere here among you. So I want to say thank you to my own children. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a report dated 18 August 2021 by Corruption Watch, which is a Transparency International chapter working to fight corruption in South Africa, has revealed that the most corruption in local governments has been committed by municipal managers. With all the millions that they are earning per month, Most corruption is happening because of them. The report highlighted corruption that has plagued municipalities throughout South Africa for almost 10 years, as reflected in the more than 5,000 whistleblowers that have reported cases of corruption within local government to the organization since its inception in 2012 until the end of 2020. I need to say something about whistleblowers. The current government is not protecting whistleblowers. They are not doing enough. There are people in South Africa who don't like corruption, who are ready to expose corruption. But how many know that there are times when a person goes to the police station to report somebody who has done wrong? And then the police, who are corrupt themselves, then they tell the person, so and so has come to report to you. Now the ACDP friends wants to eliminate that. We want to honor whistleblowers. Whistleblowers are going to be encouraged to make sure that corruption in South Africa is defeated once and for all. Now, as a result of this corruption, the Auditor General's report on the 2019-2020 municipal audit outcomes has shown that only 27 municipalities out of 257 municipalities countrywide received clean audits. Imagine only 27 out of 257 received clean audits. The rest of them, there has been issues of corruption. There's been issues of expenditure that was not allowed to take place. There has been issues where people cannot account for what they did with the money. And the ACDP obviously want to correct this mess by providing the nation with God-fearing, ethical, skilled, and competent leaders who will serve communities with diligence, leaders that are committed to building an efficient local government where respect, justice, and professional service is its central aim. We are aware that government has a constitutional mandate to improve the lives of all citizens through delivery of quality services. Corruption has crippled and in some areas collapsed our state institutions. The ACDP says our great nation deserves better services than what they are offered. To achieve this, the ACDP will install ethical, accountable, and skilled municipal managers and staff, regardless of their race, sex, age, or religion. The time is coming very, very soon when people are not going to be judged according to the color of their skin, where jobs are not going to be given to people because they stayed longer in the oven, they are darker than the others. But the day is coming when people are going to be honored and given responsibilities based on their abilities, based on their skills. Why? Because we want service delivery. Color only is not enough. We want service delivery. Now let me give you an example of what we want. Something that happened a few years ago. When a team from our church was invited to a city called Aziz in Brazil. 3 things that happened in that city that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Things that I pray and work hard and wish that would happen in South Africa. 3 things. The first thing, between where we were staying, our residence, and the meeting place was a huge city park. Brazilian meetings are long meetings and late meetings into the early hours of the morning sometimes. Many times after 12 o'clock midnight, we would drive from the center where we held meetings to our residence. And passing that huge city park, we would see children and women, children playing in the park with their mothers. At what time? 12 o'clock midnight or 1 a.m. Can you imagine what people who came from Gauteng did? When we saw that, we looked at these people with big eyes and asked the question, is this not dangerous? Are they not going to be raped? In Johannesburg, can you be in the city park at 12 midnight? So we asked them, are they not going to be raped? And the answer was, not in Aziz. We were told, women and children are not raped in this city. In my heart, I said, if it is possible, what I'm seeing with my eyes, this must be possible also in South Africa. So that is one of our goals, to make sure that women in South African streets can walk freely without fear. That when they see a man, they would not be scared. When they see a man, they would not think, here comes a potential rapist. Ladies and gentlemen, we saw with our eyes, I saw with my eyes, women, children, 1 a.m. playing in the streets, not seeing a single man and nobody raping them. And ACDP want to see that happen in South Africa. We will do it in South Africa. God helping us, we'll do it in South Africa. The second thing, one Saturday morning, a man came with a skorokoro. You know what is skorokoro? A push me before I go car. He came with this push me before I go car, parked his car just in front of our residence. Opposite our residence was a shebeen. The man left the car idling across the road into the shebeen. We looked at the car. We looked at the keys in the ignition. I looked at my watch, about 20 to 25 minutes. The car was idling in front of us while the man was drinking. So obviously coming from Gauteng, we asked the question, won't this car be stolen? And the answer was, not in Aziz. Now, our host who were never in South Africa then asked us a question. Are cars stolen in Johannesburg? We said, oh, Johannesburg. Even if you put a gorilla steering lock on the wheel, they take the car and the gorilla elephant alles. So I saw with my eyes that cars can be left idling with nobody touching them. Those people said, in Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo and other places, you cannot do that because they are thieves, they would steal the car. But they said, here, on Slanele Hart, Siabashaya, they won't do it here. And so, our mayor-elect, we want this in Johannesburg. Friends, we want to make Johannesburg safe. We want to make Johannesburg clean. Maybe let me tell you the third thing. Before we came back, the mayor of the city hosted a farewell lunch for us. He gave a speech. After his speech, he said, anybody who has a question, please ask. I raised up my hand. I said, Honorable Mayor, do you have poor people in Aziz? He said, yes, of course we do. Why do you ask such a question? I said, since we came here, we have not seen a single person who sleeps in the streets, who sleeps under the bridges. We have not seen a single person. Don't you have poor people? And we have not seen a single beggar in the street corner. The mayor said, no, we do have poor people. He said, but we also have a center where we keep poor people, homeless people, those we find in the streets, in the center for 14 days maximum. And he said, during the 14 days, we take that individual and we trace the family of that person we found in the street. They said, because we believe there is nobody without a family. When a person leaves the family to stay in the streets, it could be because of challenges at home. So the mayor said, we take that person, bring the family together, and bring a social worker to counsel them. Some cases that are difficult, we bring psychologists to counsel them, to bring reconciliation. And if there is poverty in the house, there is nothing to eat, the mayor said, we look after that family. But nobody is left sitting and sleeping in the streets all the time. Do you want that in South Africa? You want that in Johannesburg? Then the ACDP is the way to go. We saw it with our eyes and we want to see it in South Africa. Friends, it is possible. This country is a wealthy country. Nobody deserves to sleep hungry in South Africa. Nobody deserves to sleep in the streets in South Africa. We have people who don't care in leadership. We have people who don't care who are leading municipalities. But we want to get them out. Everybody says change. Everybody says change. We want to change mayors in South Africa, in local governments. We want to change councillors in local government. Before we came here, I don't know whether that lady is here. One of our members, who happens to be white, called us and asked the question, is it safe for me to go to Johannesburg alone? That hit me hard. A lady to ask daylight, is it safe for me to go to Johannesburg alone? ACDP, we must say those days are coming to an end. Those days are coming to an end. So we want to give South Africa reliable leaders that will assist communities. Let me say something about small business development and poverty alleviation. Small business should be the lifeblood of our economy. In South Africa, it is not. ACDP says small business. It pains us to see Metro Police arrest people who are selling food in the streets. ACDP says it is wrong. There are many drug dealers who are allowed to run around. But those who want to make an honest living, those who are starting small businesses, are being harassed. ACDP, we want to bring that to an end. Obviously, we will ensure that there is order. Obviously. We will ensure that everything is done orderly. But it is not right to refuse people who want to make an honest living, harass them, take their goods, and they say they are going to confiscate them when they are going to eat them themselves. So we want, ACDP wants justice for all our people, particularly those who are going into small business. We believe small business should be the engines of economic growth and security. By empowering small businesses, We will address poverty alleviation and job creation. Now, to encourage economic growth and entrepreneurship, the ACDP will empower citizens and ensure ease of doing business by reducing red tape. What do we mean by red tape? Red tape, they tell you, after giving you the forms, after filling the forms, go to room number 17. Room number 17, they look at it, they say, okay, go to the second floor. Second floor, they say, okay, you can leave it, come next week. Next week, when you come, they say, okay, go to the third floor. You go to the third floor, they look at it, they say, leave it for us, leave it with us. And then, for months, this thing is called red tape. A few years ago, we were in a country called Rwanda. In Rwanda, starting from scratch to apply for a business license, maximum 3 days you have a license. Maximum 3 days you have a license. In South Africa, because of red tape, the ACDP wants to cut that red tape. We are going to cut that red tape so that people can have jobs. We do not believe in handouts. We want to encourage and empower people to create their own jobs so that ultimately our economy will center and will be based and will be energized by small businesses. The issue of access to housing. The ACDP will award title deeds to qualifying residents of municipal-owned housing units, as we did during our tenure in the city of Johannesburg. We will maximize the use of state land that is not being fully utilized by ensuring it is allocated for the residential and agricultural needs of communities. You know, from being in Gauteng, when I go to Parliament, I don't go by local taxis, I don't go by bus, but I fly. When you are up there, you realize there is plenty of land. There's plenty of land, and much of it is owned by the state. So the ACDP is going to ensure that state land is used efficiently to meet the residential needs of people and also for people to can start their own businesses. Let me say something about community safety. I'm running after time. Safety starts with principled leadership. The primary role of government is to protect its citizens. The ACDP is committed to ensuring our communities are safe and secure. The ACDP will strengthen law enforcement by ensuring ethical and effective policing and increasing the number of troops on the ground. The current administration has made many mistakes. One of the mistakes they made was to close teacher training colleges, nursing colleges, and also training colleges for the police. There is a shortage. Why? Because they did not look ahead. They closed, and as a result, there is shortage of police. ACDP is going to increase the number of police we have. There are some that have retired that will bring them back. We will look at their record. All those detectives who knew how to arrest criminals, will bring them back. We want to make it uncomfortable for criminals. The ACDP is going to be friends with law-abiding citizens and not friends of criminals. There are political parties in South Africa that are friends of criminals, that are also financed by drug lords. We will not take money from the drug dealers. We are honest people because we know what drugs are doing to children and innocent people. So we want to increase the number of police in our streets. And friends, corruption among the police. Let me say a word of encouragement to the police who are burdened by the corruption they see among themselves. ACDP will be without mercy when it comes to police that are involved in corruption. A few years ago, when we still had the lady Jackie Silibi as the National Commissioner of Police, in one of the committee meetings in Parliament, I asked him a question. After a number of people complained and said in the Western Cape, you know how drugs are in the Western Cape. They said, we are complaining, police are not doing anything about the drug dealers. They know the houses, but they're not doing anything about it. So I asked this commissioner of police, what are you doing? Because people are complaining. They say, we can take you to the houses of the drug dealers. But they said the police don't do that. Then I said, why don't you do that? Mr. Selebi said, you know, these police are clever. They are clever. When they know the police are coming, they hide all the drugs. We go there, search, and we don't find them. Then I said, but Commissioner, what about sniffing dogs? You can take sniffing dogs into those houses, and those dogs will tell you where the drugs are. And the commissioner said, you know, the budget of the police does not allow us to have enough sniffing dogs. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no will with the current government to eradicate corruption and drug dealers. Friends, when people say to a government, even municipality government, that is led by the ACDP, there are drugs in that house, we'll take the dogs with us. No stone will be unturned. We will not allow, you call them smoker lazy. What? Lowly lounges. They say lowly lounges. We will not allow lowly lounges. Ons gaan hulle almal toesluit. Almal toesluit. Why? Because we care for people. Ladies and gentlemen, something different about the ACDP, we care. Others, they don't care. They said that Makni, Sakni, they don't care. We care. That's why we are saying, these last days, give the ACDP an opportunity to lead the nation. And you will see what the nation of South Africa will be like. We are dreaming. We are dreaming about a South Africa that will become the envy of the world. The envy of the world. A South Africa with different race groups, ethnic groups, standing together, working together to build a new South Africa. That is the dream that we have. And I'm sure by the grace of God, it is going to happen. In Jesus' name, it is going to happen. The nation, we are going to stand together to build this nation and make it the envy of the world. Mark my words, it will happen. Some people say, when they hear me say this, they say, that's just dream. You are just dreaming. You are just dreaming. I'll say to such people, my initials are KRJ. J stands for Joseph. whose dreams come to pass. Remember, you Christians, what Joseph in the Bible did. My dreams come true. It's going to happen in this nation. But now, lastly, ladies and gentlemen, last night, between 9 and 10 p.m., I was on a podcast hosted by an award-winning political cartoonist from Cape Town. While we were talking, I'll come to his question now. While we were still discussing, he has international audience. They were sending in questions. One of the questions was, does your party, does the ACDP support ownership of firearms? The man who asked that question called from Germany. Will your party allow private citizens to own guns? What do you think? Yes, no, yes, no. Yes, no, yes, no. Hey. All right. Now, I realize there are some who are saying yes, some are saying no. Let me tell you this. I'm sure during the looting that took place in July in Gauteng and KZN, there were places where you saw police retreating. Police retreating and the mobs coming to loot. And there were places where you saw citizens standing with firearms. And when the guys saw that these people are not going to be pushovers, they have firearms, then they retreated, and not the local citizens. There were places that were not looted, that would have been looted if citizens in those communities were not armed. So I'm saying to you, the ACDP allows and promotes the right to own firearms to protect yourselves. You have the right. I heard the minister of police wants to move away from that, and we must say that sal dit dag wees. When a government plans to disarm its population, you must know they are up to something evil. Yes, I repeat. When a government disowns its citizens, they want to make you vulnerable. They are up to something. It is not because they want to reduce crime. Friends, it is easy. If you have the police who are not corrupt, who want to arrest all the criminals, it can be done. But corruption is stopping many of them. You arrest them today, they pay 2,000 rands and they're out. I'm saying, friends, with the correct leadership that is ethical, leadership that is disciplined, leadership that is serious about protecting its citizens, we can end corruption and crime in South Africa. We can do that. So, this gentleman during the podcast, he asked me a question, a number of questions. And he said, he surprised me by saying, I'm going to ask you the most important issue. I'm going to ask you a question about the most important issue in modern history. Huh? A question about the most important issue in modern history. I say, question. He says, mandatory vaccines. Ladies and gentlemen, a journalist said the most important issue in modern history. He said, okay, what are you saying about that? Tell us. What's the position of the ACDP? Now, before I raise one important issue again that came up during our discussions, I want to read to you a question that I asked President Ramaphosa in Parliament on the 3rd of September 2021. This is what I said. Mr. President, God the Almighty has given his people the right to choose. That is now being taken away through totalitarian governments around the world. A righteous and just God who wants all to be saved does not force his salvation on anyone. Is that true? He doesn't force. That's why Jesus said, whosoever will. He does not force anyone. Now, if governments are forcing people, then they are playing God. They are doing something that God himself does not do. So, let me continue with what I said to the president. I said, God who wants all to be saved does not force his salvation to anyone. Yet, emerging dictators are trying to force people to receive vaccines they don't want to. This we believe, friends, is tyranny. It is tyranny that must be resisted by the people of the world. In case I am misunderstood, the ACDP, those who are saying we are anti-vaxxers are wrong. We are not. Everybody say ACDP is not anti-vaccinations. Somebody said again, ACDP is not anti-vaccinations. What we are against is force. What we are against is what? What we are against is what? Force. God has given us free will. And he has given us a choice. Those who want it should get it. And those who don't want it must not be forced. All right. Section 12 of the South African Constitution, subsection 2C, says, and I quote, everyone has the right to bodily and psychological integrity, which includes the right not to be subjected to medical or scientific experiments without their informed choices. Now, how many have heard the former Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, talking about experimental vaccines? How many have heard him talk about experiments? Have you heard him talk about that? What do they mean when they say experimental vaccines? Huh? When they say experimental, they mean they are experimenting with you. They are saying you are a guinea pig. Now, a person like myself says, my wife says I'm the most handsome young man. My wife, okay? Now, I'm saying, according to my wife, who says I am handsome. How can a handsome young man like me be treated like a guinea pig? All right, it's not going to happen, okay? Now, then I said to the president, listen, let me finish. I'm given, I think they said 10 minutes, I must be done. My question to you, Mr. President, is whether you are willing to help prevent a new form of apartheid, where unvaccinated people are being discriminated against and excluded from some places. And whether you are willing to defend the constitutional rights of South Africans whose choice is not to be vaccinated. The ACDP says no to a new form of apartheid based on proposed mandatory vaccines, which is against the South African constitution that is held by many around the world. The president refused to commit himself to protect such people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as my time comes to an end, I want to repeat, God has given you a choice that government must respect. God has given me a choice that government must respect. As I conclude, if government continues to insist that they are going to do it, the ACDP is collaborating with organizations, and at this stage I want to ask that gentleman to come. This man, how many know him? Dr. John Musepili. All right? Now listen to this. Listen to this. He is the president of an organization called Watchers and Gatekeepers. Among other things, this organization is partnering with us to go to court. Listen to me carefully. Anybody who would be fired from their job because of refusing to take the jab, his organization and the ACDP will take those employers to court. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Friends, let us be taken seriously. The promise the ACDP makes is the promise we keep. When God has given us rights, no government, no devil can take away those God-given rights. No! We refuse. I refuse. The rights we are given to God are not going to be taken. Other places they can do it. Other nations they can do it. We say not in South Africa. Not in South Africa. No. We have come out of a painful past where we did not have rights. We refuse to be taken back there. No apartheid in universities. No apartheid in schools. No apartheid in workplaces. No apartheid, no apartheid, no apartheid. All right, I'm done. COVID passports. COVID passports. We don't want COVID passports. They are talking now about COVID passports. We don't want COVID passports. Now, let me give you an important biblical reason. Biblical reason why we don't want these COVID passports. How many know that Jesus said, go into all the world. Go into all the world. Go and into all the world. He said you must go to Brazil, you must go to America, you must go to Uganda, you must go to Europe, you must go all over. That's what he said. That's what he said. And I don't need a COVID passport. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time that the church uses its authority in Christ. Uses our authority in Christ to stop this thing. And we will. Ladies and gentlemen, I say we will. Now, tell all workers. There are workers who say we don't want them. Tell them ACDP is standing for all workers in South Africa who don't want the jab. We want to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, ACDP is the party for the future. You want to enjoy your freedom? You want to enjoy your liberty? Forget about those who said we fought for democracy. They have forgotten about democracy. Now they are coming to be dictators. Deny us our rights. We say no. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody say, I say no. Everybody say, I say no. Everybody say, I say no. So on behalf of the ACDP, I want to say to all voters out there, vote your values. Vote for freedom. Now, let me ask you, which other political party have you heard them say what I'm saying now? Yeah? None. They will not say it. Okay? We are the only political party that cares about your rights. Okay? So that's why I'm saying, vote your values. Vote for the ACDP. Vote for your freedom. For freedom, you have been set free. For freedom has Christ set you free. So enjoy your freedom in the name of the Lord. Enjoy your freedom. Mudimo alitono lofate. Ngozi sikelele. God bless South Africa. God bless South Africa. Murena alitono lofate. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Come on, everybody. Let us tell them. Yes, ACDP. Seba Jelilewema. Oh yes, the ACDP. Seba Jelilewema. Yes, the ACDP. Seba Jelilewema. Yes, the ACDP. Yes, 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 Cristo,
ACDP Tata. Honorable Swan, come. Water. Honorable Swan, water. Swan.
ACDP, ACDP, Tata. Phansi ngabanye abantu phansi.
Phansi ngamasela phansi. Phambili ngoJesu phambili. Tata ACDP Tata.
Siyabonga. We are now going to close this official session and allow our leaders to go for formal interview. Please, all the NEC members, all our guests, accompany our president for the interviews in that room next door. As we close this session, we can't open this session just in prayer and not close it. We are going to, the president is giving us allowance. As they're being interviewed, we are going to be dancing and rejoicing for this day the Lord has made. And I'm going to give over to our guys here to please, can you please relieve us? We are tired.